everybody, it's Dr. Erin here, one of the good doctors of Abbey Research, and I am here on Monday, December 23rd, 2 days before the Christmas holiday, to talk to you for Good Doctors Diagnose about representation in stock photos. Now, this might seem a little out of left field, but for a person who didn't really engage very much with stock photos until this job, where I produce a lot of promotional material, I use stock photos for all of our website design, for all of our white papers, for all of our workbooks that we use for our workshops, lots of stock photos. And it's something that I never spend a lot of time thinking about, but it's an interesting way to show kind of how society, and particularly how business worlds, are being represented. And as we are learning and growing through this period of understanding all the different types of humans that exist out there and how people choose to express their gender or sexuality or personhood, however they see fit and feel comfortable doing, we don't see this representation often reflected in the stock photos, which is how we show what our world looks like, or in some ways what we want our world to look like. So we became conscious of this, Dr. Kristen and I, as we were redesigning our website earlier this year. Forgot when that happened. And we started to be a lot more intentional about including particularly people of color, people of different age groups. One of the areas that we noticed a lack of quality stock photos in were differently abled people and plus size people. People of all different shapes and sizes. We've recently found a new online service, the link below, to stock photos of plus size people. But even in this instance, when I was so excited to see this representation exist, it was an office full of plus size people. Only plus size people were in the photos when there were multiple people in the photos. And that's not necessarily an accurate representation of the workforce either. And so we try and find a representational image when we're showing potential workforces and work situations in our online stuff and our PowerPoints and our website photos. But there's flaws in the process as well. And particularly, this is really significant when we think about the impact that the representation of workforces and offices and cultures has on what we see and how we see it. So one of my favorite slogans in the last year has been the Girl Scouts, "We can't be what we can't see," talking about the importance of representation and seeing people that look like us, whatever we look like, in positions of authority, in fields that interest us, in businesses that interest us. And so one of the biggest problems with stock photos, particularly when they're showing situations of leadership, is that it's almost always a white man in a suit, leading the meeting, in charge in a boardroom, boardrooms populated by men in suits. Usually there's at least one man of color in the photograph. And in some businesses and in some fields and industries, that might be what representation looks like. There's a lot of fields out there that are still majority male dominated, majority white male dominated. So sometimes stock photos can be used, as I said at the beginning of my video, aspirationally to show the world the way we want to see it, even if that's not necessarily the demographic representation of what diversity looks like in that instance. But I encourage you, as you transition into the next year, to think about what type of workforce you're representing in the photos that you use, the photos that you have taken around your office, and even to think about what diversity looks like in your office and what representation looks like in your office on promotional materials, on marketing materials. Make sure that you're bringing in as many voices as you can, and showing authentically what you look like or what you hope to look like. And if authentically you look like one type of person, whatever that person is, gender, sex, age, whatever, this might be a good opportunity to reflect on how you might want that to change and what you can do to shake up that image so that it looks a little bit more like what the rest of the country and the rest of the world looks like as we move into 2020. But I wanted to share a few thoughts that I've had this year about representation in stock photos. We've included links below to some websites that are pretty diverse in their representation that we use at Abbey Research if you're looking for a source for those images. For now, that's everything I have for this Good Doctors Diagnose. Take care, everybody.